Hey there, hi there, ho there, hello there, and welcome back to another exciting edition of the Cardinal Couple Radio Hour podcast, where we discuss the joy and excitement of UofL women's athletics. Certainly, some exciting and disappointing things that happened this week for Cardinal athletics on the women's side, as we saw the end of lacrosse for the season, and also softball lose a heartbreaker last night. But these things happen in the course of a year. We're going to talk about all that and more today, as we've got a total of three in the house today. Daryl is out with her family, her father going in for a hip surgery today. And being a veteran and a survivor of that, I can tell her that he's going to be cranky for the first week or so, but once he starts feeling better, things are going to be nice. Recalling my own experiences with it. Jared, we're thinking Jared's over at softball for senior day. He was kind of evasive in his "I won't be on radio, but I will be at softball." Okay, well, that's fine. We have a strong crew in here. I'm not worried one bit as we boldly sally forth into the world of U of L women's athletics. And here to join me with that today, of course, Case and Jeff. We'll go ahead and start with Case. Case and I were just kind of talking a little bit about some of the things that were going on this week. And Case, what's happening, man?
Yeah, it's been a busy week, both at work and then at home, trying to get everything all squared away for Derby week, and um, moved oh 200 some odd bags mulch last week. So that's why I was uh, not present for this particular program last Saturday, and we've got still some more stuff to do there. Got a much improved quote on getting some trees down. Um, as long as we do it with the fence also out. So looking at the new portion of fence and some tree removal that'll happen a little bit later. We got to get a gas line relocated. We got to get some new structural stuff happening in the house. It's a whole thing going on around here. But
Welcome to the joys of home ownership, my friend.
oh, I've lived them. I've lived them. But yeah, it's there's nothing quite like whoever installed the gas line in this house originally just deciding that a lot of structural things that gas line was more important. They didn't care. So that's fun.
Sometimes that's what you run into, I guess. So I know, yeah, I know a good tree guy, by the way. If you're not happy with the guy you got,
Oh,
but
yeah. At this rate, after the original quote we got from this group, um, if they weren't going to be able to get a crane back, and now the quote we got with them being able to do the crane, I think we're going to stick with it.
there you go.
I don't think we could do better than this deal for the trees we're taking out.
Certainly, there are a lot of reputable firms out there. I had a hard time deciding because I had to take down two pine trees that had been in my front yard ever since I was a little boy, and so they were massive monsters now. But unfortunately, like a lot of the pines that you see around our fair city now, the white pines, they are starting to die, and it's sad. But there are like eight or nine of them on my street here, and
Yeah,
we're all dying out.
one of those ones we're getting out is a pine, and
Yeah.
it it grew leaning, and it leans towards the house, which is not the most encouraging. And then that last windstorm we had, it wasn't even the big windstorm because it was the smaller one before that that had taken out a pretty major branch. So it's a concern.
I can well imagine. And you're online to have your annual derby party again this year, I think.
That's right. That's right. We
Very good.
splurged to order the programs, so I don't have to go out and get them. And let me tell you, that is an unpleasant expense because you have to order 5, and the shipping costs almost as much as the programs.
Yeah, I usually just would run around and do that real early on Saturday morning. There's a couple liquor stores around here who made sure they had a bloom billion of them, so it wasn't any problem just to drop in there and pick up a half pint and a couple of programs. But
Yeah, with it being 150, I just wanted to make sure with the souvenir aspect and
oh yeah, makes sense to me. But Should be a good one. I've been very lacking in my Derby preparation and studies this year, and I apologize to those who used to follow it for years, but I just haven't. I really haven't had the interest in it this year because I don't go out there much at all anymore, if at all, and my interest is kind of waning on it. But maybe Derby spirit will hit me soon. We'll see. One guy who's definitely a fella who won't be able to give you any Derby picks is Jeff
Yeah.
McAdams. He's in
Know,
here with us
know your
today.
strengths.
Yeah,
Yeah. New phone. Who does? No. Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm not a horse racing aficionado. I occasionally go out to the track for the social aspect of it, but not much more than that. So yeah, I do have a new phone, by the way. I got it yesterday. So um, been spending a lot of time getting that set up, because that takes uh, weeks to finally get it all where you want it, right? So fun stuff.
I've had that experience too with phones, and
Yeah.
probably not nearly as highly technical as what you got. But what did you end
Yeah.
up with, by the way?
So I've been buying the Google Pixel line. I just buy them from Google, and I get about every other generation. I had a 4, and then I had a 6, and now this one's an 8. So, um, they just that's about how long they last for me before I start. They start getting beaten up. My 6 had a bunch of cracks in the screen and everything. And what I'll do is I'll go have the 6 repaired. I fix it or something like that, someplace like that, and they'll be able to get it back fully working and everything. And then I have my backup phone. So when my 6 died, I grabbed my 4 off the shelf and said, "All right, let's use this for a week while I get the 8." So
So you
yeah.
actually keep the old phone?
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm not.
My
I do the trade in with Apple. I don't.
Yeah.
It's
oh
worth
yeah. So I
it's worth
just
the couple $100 they'll give me for it. So
yeah, I just buy them straight up. And then like my 4 before I was using it as my backup phone was my remote control for my entertainment center.
Well,
so
there you go.
we do a
Multitask.
fun trick where Lindsay and I both get um, mobile reimbursements from our
Mm-hmm.
company. So we
Oh yeah.
do the hers is just a flat half of our bill because it's her half of our bill, and then I get a certain amount for devices. So instead of buying them outright, we do uh, the whatever, basically a lease payment on it.
Mm,
But the installments, so our phone bill is almost completely reimbursed every month, which is quite
that's
nice.
pretty nice. Yeah, I gotta admit. I don't have that. My company doesn't offer that, but it also means that they don't try to control my phone, so
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
yeah.
There you go.
Fortunately, all I have to do is give them my phone number.
Yeah,
They don't demand anything other than that I answer it.
yeah, that's pretty good actually. That's a pretty good deal.
Sony and I are in the situation where our phones are separate than any other type of internet, like a laptop or TV or anything like that we use. We went through Verizon. We get a very nice senior citizen deal from them. Yes, I am a senior citizen. Proudly admit it. Get off my yard.
Mm,
And just had to get that in there. And so we got a good deal on that for the two phones that we have, plus the tablet that I used to take me to various sporting events to keep track of things and stuff like that. So probably not nearly as advanced as you two guys, but I can work my way around it and feel comfortable with what I'm doing.
yep,
And to me,
that's the important thing.
that's the main thing is that
Yeah,
I don't dread turning my phone on or like, oh hell, what is this? What am I
yeah,
supposed to do now? It's, but yeah, so that great technology update for you here from the
yeah.
guys. And uh, as for me, it's been kind of a quiet week. I have been talking a little bit with a friend of mine who is giving me some insight and some ideas into some of the things that's going on in the world of kidney transplants. As you all well know, I'm a candidate for that right now, and have decided to. And this is it's hard for me to admit it and say it, but I've completely dropped the University of Louisville out of any plans for a kidney transplant. Just got to the point where I was fed up with certain aspects of their nature of doing this, and have gone with the University of Cincinnati. Very, very top notch, well respected kidney transplant program, ranked much higher nationally than Louisville is, and certainly a program that in my initial stuff with them that I've done, I'm very, very impressed with the care and the depth that they go into figuring out you and what you need to match up with. So, all that's fun. Been talking to a friend who had a liver through the University of Cincinnati a couple years ago, and he just gushes about how well their transplant programs are there. Was so happy with it. They still follow up with them 2 years after the aspect today on stuff. So, very, very good stuff there. But face it, folks, when you get old, body parts sometimes they don't act the way you want them to. And so, if you're not experiencing anything like that, fellas, get ready. It's around the corner for you, I bet.
Nothing that extreme, but I've had my share of body parts doing things they weren't supposed to as they get older. Certainly.
But certainly one of the good things is that the technology and the advancements in the medical field that have been made in certain areas, including transplants, are truly amazing. To the fact that where there's a special breed of pig out there that become a mass donor for all human beings as far as kidneys go. Basically, all you got to do is raise this pig up to an adult age, pull out the kidney and stick it in somebody, and they're good to go.
But do you have to raise it if you're gonna get the
Well,
kidney?
no, it's not a home share or home cropping kind of deal. Like, yeah, I'd
So
like to
it's-
bring my pig in
Gonna
for a
be-
tune-up, and
It's gonna be
here's
the
my
next thing.
here's my service dog, and here's my organ donor pig.
here's my organ pig. No,
I require my organ donating pigs to be free range.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
want
I'm
the
just
I
about
don't want the
25,000
GMO.
mile mixing.
yeah, hormone free. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the pig's history? Yeah, what
Yeah.
kind of life did he have?
How was his father a mother?
Yeah, was his mother a father? Was his mother's a mother? You're kidding? The mother's a mother? No. The old routine there, of course. The incredible Seinfeld. His mother's a mother? Holy cow. But so we're going along with that quite well. You know, I used to call certain officers of the law pigs when I was younger. Pretty soon I may have a pig part in me, so I could officially say, I'm one with you guys now. Give me my billy club. But we'll see. Time will tell it. Well, we just jumped right off the train tracks here and headed right down the middle of the alley. But let's get into a little scheduling and Twitter information. Certainly not a lot to do there, probably, but we're going to turn that over to the capable hands of Case Hoskins, who will catch us up on what be happening, sir.
Yeah. See, the trick of avoiding a train derailment is to never start on the tracks to begin with. So I think that's
Yeah.
a little inside baseball.
That happens when I go, hey there, hi there, ho there, hello there.
Exactly. Yeah. See, we just depart the station, not on the tracks. So that's how we.
It's just like, what train? I don't know.
Yeah, but looking at the schedule, rowing is in Raleigh for the Lake Wheeler Invitational. By this time of the day, I'm quite certain that the second day of competition there is well underway, if not already completed.
Quite close to over. Yeah.
Yep.
I tend to go early.
Yeah, an okay day for the Cards. Yesterday they had a third place finish, fourth place, few fourth place finishes. So, decent. You know, it's still one of the things that I think Louisville would like to improve, but not quite the same training regimen that other places get to have here on the Ohio. Trying to, they may have developed the skills to avoid large logs coming down the river, but I don't think that those skills translate when they go out to competitions in other locations. But that underway today, that continues, or that today's the last day of that event, actually. Track is hosting the Clarkwood Invitational. That one will continue until tomorrow. Jaden Ulrich with another massive day yesterday. Um, she's just going to break all the records, I think, before she's done with the throw competitions. At 1 o'clock, baseball and softball both taking on Clemson, both at home. Softball, that is senior day. So if you want to get out there probably around 12:15, based on how early they've started some of the other senior day festivities this season, you can catch that. And we can, of course, talk about that softball event from yesterday a lot more as the show goes on. Tomorrow, baseball and softball both wrap up their event or their series with Clemson. Softball will close at noon. That'll be on ACC Network Extra. Baseball will close at 4. That one will be on ESPN2. So interesting channel there. I was wrong about the Clarkwood Invitational continuing. Tomorrow's track event is in Charlottesville, the Virginia High Performance Invitational. So I assume a few members will split from the team and head out to that. Nothing on Monday or Wednesday. Both are off days as a lot of the spring sports wrap up. Baseball will take on NKU at Jim Patterson on Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Thursday, Thurby baseball gets their series against Boston College started. They're on the road. Wondering if they
I was gonna say, I hope so.
yeah,
Yeah.
always on the road, I believe. Softball and baseball on Derby week.
On Derby weekend, yeah.
I think that I wonder if they'll travel together because softball is also headed up to Boston College. So
Well, if you're going to get out of the brouhaha of Derby madness around the city, that's certainly far enough way to go, isn't it? Gosh.
Yeah.
they avoid it. Women's tennis, it's listed as TBA, so I'm not sure. Some kind of event, I assume, taking place. Not sure what's on the calendar there. Baseball's second game of their series against Boston College on Oaks Day, Friday at 5. Softball will get their series against the Eagles started at 4. No streaming listed for that, so I'm not sure if their softball facilities just don't have the capability, or if they just haven't gotten around to listing it yet.
Boston College, right?
Yes. The baseball is listed as streaming, so I'm not sure what's going on with softball.
I'm gonna go look at their site, see if they have it. I'll update you in a second.
All right. Trek is headed to Bloomington for the Billy Hayes Invitational, and rowing will also take the opportunity to get out of Dodge and have what they call the Derby training event in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. That'll be all weekend long. Also, Friday is Oaks Day. Post is at 6 something, usually, or is Oaks at 5?
Oaks is usually a little earlier, I think around like a 5:40 or so, and then traditionally they'll have 2 races after Oaks and after Derby each day.
Post time of Oaks 5:51.
Okay.
And then what is the post time for Derby this year? Because I actually need to know this. 6:57. So it'll be a fairly late start.
Close to 7, yeah.
For that one, both days there will be 2 races after, like you said, Polly.
Yep.
Saturday, Derby Day. Not sure if we're doing the show. I will not be on if we are. Both softball and baseball. Yeah, right. Softball and baseball both at noon. And I should have looked ahead here. The softball game is listed as ACC Network proper on Saturday, so almost assuredly it will be on ACC Network Extra on Friday.
Yeah, I'm on Boston College's site, and they do not have it listed for Friday and Sunday. They do not have any video listed.
That's weird.
It's
Maybe
weird.
they just don't show it.
They may not. They may not have it. I know they've done that with volleyball when we played up there.
They just don't.
It's just not available. Yeah.
Maybe they don't have the. Maybe they don't have the team, like the on-campus staff.
Yeah, I don't know.
Boston
College seems to be the only conference school that does that, though. Pretty much everybody else will have some sort of availability on most of these things. So.
Well, because with baseball also there, maybe the same people would regularly cover it for ACC Network Extra, and then
That's possible.
I guess it's possible, but that's not
Yeah,
normal.
they do have ACC Network Extra listed on
on the
most of
baseball
the
games.
other softball games too, other weekends. So yeah, I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah.
But that is scheduling. I guess it could flip ahead to the following week since, like we just said, we won't be on there.
Yeah, just to kind of to reiterate what you had brought up there, Casey, we will not be doing a show
Yeah.
next week.
We kind of all go different directions Derby Day, so
Yeah, it is kind of a different aspect where
yeah,
parties everywhere. So
yeah.
people go to attend those derby parties, and certainly we wish you a great time at yours.
Yep.
All right, Case, continue.
So looking ahead to the following week, softball will close their series against Boston College at noon on Sunday. That is their last regular season game this year. They kind of need to win their next 5 and then a few in the ACC tournament to continue their season. The women's tennis event, that is just some kind of something, continues through the following week. It's listed all the way until May 20th, so who knows what's happening there. Women's golf, the NCAA regionals, will be Monday, May 6th through the Wednesday, the 8th. Baseball will play Vanderbilt in Nashville on May 7th, Tuesday at 7 p.m. That game will also be on ESPN2, and is a heck of a way to get ready to close out the season, because they'll have Vanderbilt and then, well, maybe they do have 2 more weekends. Baseball has 2 more weekends after softball of regular season games, so season continuing a little longer there. Softball, the ACC tournament will get started on Wednesday the 8th, and it is being hosted by Duke in Durham, North Carolina. I wonder if they will play that. No, they wouldn't. That's what the baseball teams do, sometimes play at the minor league stadiums. Softball will probably not do that. Track on Thursday begins the ACC Outdoor Championships in Atlanta, Georgia. That is Thursday through Saturday. And then that's pretty much it. Baseball starts their series against North Carolina Friday, and the other events continue. If softball's still in the ACC tournament, they'll still be playing on Friday, but obviously we would have no idea what time or who they're playing against. So that'll do it for scheduling a double dose this week. As for our socials, I tweet as best case scenario, BST case scenario. Polly is at Cardinal Couple. Jeff is at Card Couple Radio and at Jeff McAdams. Jared is at Mr. Anderson Jared, where you can, I think, check out his thoughts about various officiating, maybe what the Colts did in the NFL draft, just various things. Daryl is at Daryl Faust 4, and that'll do it.
And always, excuse me just a second here.
Frog jumped up. We thought we only
Yeah.
had 3 in the broadcast this week,
Yeah.
but we got 1 extra.
Just when I was getting ready to talk, all of a sudden, I just said, okay, guess what? Not so
Yeah.
fast. But
So
always,
frustrating when that happens.
and it is, but part of the one of the maladies of doing live radio on the internet, on a podcast. But we had fun, certainly, at past derby parties that you and I have attended, Case. So it's a great time of year. You along with your family and your lovely wife were at quite a few parties over the years with me.
Mm-hmm.
And before you do, in different locations, I might add. I think we can both probably agree that the parties we had at our friend known as the Markster were probably the best of the bunch.
Classics.
Yes, indeed. A lot of fun times out there, and And the poker games after their Derby Day activities were even better. Oh my goodness, woo! There was some serious money exchanged in those. But in any event, it's a great time of year for Louisvillians just to kind of be Louisvillians. I know we get a big influx here of people coming in from all over and they want to experience the Derby experience here, that, this, and the other thing. And we are good hosts here. We do a fine job with it. But it's also kind of a source of civic pride, I think, and kind of a, just to kind of thump yourself in the chest a little bit and say, hey, this is what we do. Look at us. Look at what's going on. And this is all here in our city. So have a great time with it. I know that from my own personal kind of aspect and opinions here, guys, I've been very, very fortunate to have friends come in from out of town for Derby activities and Derby weekend stuff and just leave with glowing reports on the city and the things that have gone on here and how they would love to be a part of it every year. And so we got a very special weekend here, ladies and gentlemen. Never look past it too lightly. And certainly, if you can go ahead and attend the events, if you have that kind of interest in your body, go do it. Boat races are fun. Hilarious, fantastic time. The Pegasus Parade, always a good deal. I mean, just to, yeah, be a part of what's going on in your city this weekend. Even balloon glows, stuff like that, whatever. But let's go ahead and get into a little activity here, shall we? And then we're almost halfway through the show. Let's talk about what's been going on here with Cardinal Athletics. Unfortunately, for our lacrosse squad, the season is over. Uh, I'm not holding out any hopes that we're going to make it into the NCAA tournament at 8-11, 3-7 in conference. Our season is over.
Eligible to do so.
Yeah,
Am I right on that?
I think you got to have in some conferences you do have to have a 500 record. I'm not sure it's the case in like lacrosse. Obviously, if you win your conference's tournament, you're in no matter what your record is. But
exactly,
we didn't get near that. It's we had a good opening game. Let's face it.
Yeah, but then we ran into a buzzsaw. Well, and even the opening part of that game was pretty good. But yeah,
indeed it was. We knocked off a Virginia Tech team to get to the Syracuse game. They were 8 seed. We were 9 seed. Certainly, I think that our girls left it all on the field out there, honestly, against Virginia Tech. They wanted to advance. The seniors wanted to go to the second round. The fifth years as well. First time Teeters had advanced past the first round. And I'm happy that they were able to at least get the chance to move on and get a chance to play against the number one team in the conference. Unfortunately, they did go up against the number one team in the conference and lost 8-17 Wednesday afternoon in Charlotte, North Carolina. The first of 4 games that day, and a game where we hung in there and we gave it our best shot for a long, long time, Jeff. And I'll let you go into that a little bit more, but it just wasn't to be.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was a good start. Played very competitively, even had a lead over Syracuse at the beginning of that game, and just we've talked about some, and we have some questions about the depth. And maybe that's what happened here, is that later in the game, man, Syracuse just came back and just ended up overwhelming the Cards in it. But, early on, we played well, played competitively with them, led for at least, I think, like first quarter or so, or maybe more. I don't have the information in front of me right now.
They gave us a 3-goal head start, and then they decided to start playing.
Yeah. So, quality play on the field to start with, but Syracuse is just such a good team that I don't think too many people really expected UofL to win that one, and sure enough, Syracuse did come back and like I said, decided to show up finally. I think that maybe they took us a little bit for granted early on.
I take it back. We did not get a 3-goal head start. They scored the first 2 goals. with the first goal coming
Yeah.
32 seconds into the game.
Yeah.
The second goal coming less than a minute after that. Then they gave us a 3-goal run to make us feel nice, and then they led 8-3 at the end of the first quarter. So got a little out of hand there.
And Syracuse obviously a very, very good team, a team that had obviously played well enough to be number one in the conference. So I don't think the expectations, although maybe lofty in some aspects for us, were actually realistic. That would have been a dramatic upset should we had beaten them, but we didn't, and so we move on as Teeter prepares for next year. And I think what they play is the lacrosse got another round of action today. Is that correct? Or am I wrong on that?
Oh.
I kind
Scramble
of
to pull up a website here.
I kind of checked out of it after we got knocked out of it
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
and didn't continue to follow it. But while you're looking at that, let's also mention that we had Nicole Peroni and Kokoro Nakazawa, who were named to the 2024 All ACC team. This was announced on Tuesday this week. Peroni, first team. How about that?
Yeah.
And Nakazawa to the second team. And it's such a great honor to her. She was second team last year. Got named to the first team this year. She worked so hard on both ends of the ball for the Cards. Has been such a valuable contributor to this program, and also a great person just to talk to about lacrosse and about life.
The championship in the tournament is tomorrow at noon.
Between the top 2 seats.
Yeah.
Boston College and Syracuse.
No, Boston College is 3.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Because they're listed in the standings ahead of Notre Dame. My guess is that is, well, no, it's not alphabetical. Maybe it's alphabetical. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know how they ended up as a 3 seed, but
because it's some sort of tie break in there.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Notre Dame was 2 seed. Boston College was 3. So it's 3 versus 1.
So Syracuse is no more, huh?
It's Syracuse versus Boston College.
Syracuse versus Boston College.
Oh, okay. I was misunderstanding. You guys were throwing Notre Dame in there, and
Notre Dame was the 2 seed. Boston College beat them in the semifinals.
Okay, real good. All right, so
yeah,
for those of you who like to follow the sport, regardless of the teams that are playing, that's your information there. And I'm assuming that would probably get, I think, ACC proper coverage.
Yeah, it's ACC Network. Yeah, the whole tournament has been.
Yeah. So I don't know if I've got a horse in that fight or not.
Nah, I mean, I'm always going to cheer for chaos. So, go Eagles. But I have nothing against Syracuse. They're fine. But yeah, I'm just always, if it's not UofL, I'm going to cheer for the underdog.
There you go. Jeff has made his statement known. But certainly proud of Peroni. A 70-game career at Louisville. She a player that
scored in most of those consecutively.
54-game goal scoring and point scoring streak.
Unfortunately, that streak was broken by that last game. Unfortunately.
It's sad but true. But certainly a player that I think will go down in the record books and in history as one of the best ever. Pick up her lacrosse stick and step out onto the LLS and play. And one I'll certainly remember for quite a long time. Things may not be done for Nakazawa yet, who is a senior from Yokohama, Japan, but I think is eligible, technically could have a 5th or COVID season here, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. Yeah.
It would give her a great chance, guys, to play again another season with her sister, Nagai. And let's talk about that combination a little bit. In case this has been a very, very effective combination for the Cards, and certainly not the traditional channels that Scott Teeter went through to get these kids here, but what a great duo.
Yeah, it's always fun because you end up, when you write a recap, having to specify which Nakazawa you're talking about as
Yeah,
doing the incredible feats that both were able to accomplish this season.
Depending on the game, man, either one could step up. Yep.
Exactly. Kokoro finished with 61 goals on the season, led the team. Also led the team in assists with 21, so a truly fantastic year. 82 points there, higher over Peroni Peroni finished with 55, but Nagai also with a pretty stellar year. She finished with 24 goals and 11 assists. Shot percentage a little bit lower than her sisters, but still a very good effort there. She actually did manage to pip Kokoro in one category this season. Nagai tied with Izzy Cycle for the team leading game winning goals with 2. Kokoro only finished with 1. So that a win there. But like you mentioned, fantastic from both. And if Kokoro does decide to return, you'll be looking at that pair probably on the field together even more with Peroni graduating, and I believe Kylie Dobson may also be graduating.
I think you're right on that one too. Yep.
So those are the only 2 between the Nakazawa sisters on the stats sheet here for goals. So you see them both on the field together. We may be seeing a lot of goal by Nakazawa from Nakazawa stats there. So
It's possible. For
Don't
sure.
knock the knocks, right? Don't knock the
Yeah.
knocks. I like it. And just the honor roll that this girl has created in her years at Louisville is pretty incredible. She led the team with 60 goals. She had 21 assists. And you don't see that a whole lot in players who score a lot of goals. They tend not to be on the assist side as well, but she was a ninth in the ACC in assists. She was second in free position goals per game. Almost averaged a free position goal per game. And if you think about that, that's pretty incredible. And the majority is, as we will see, of goals scored in lacrosse come off penalties. But she was second in free position goals, won a game almost. And her 81 goals, or her 81 points, that was goals plus assists, ranked her 13th nationally. Pretty incredible there. She has scored at least once in every game this season and had at least 3 goals in 13 of 18 games. Amazing numbers there. And then we could go on and on about her stats, but certainly I think that when you take a look at the nucleus for building the team next year, Scott Teeter probably has it at the top of his blackboard. And he does. He has a blackboard up in his office that he keeps relevant and important stuff on. And I've even made that blackboard before, believe it or not. Down in the lower right-hand corner, it said Paulie interview.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Is it a blackboard or a whiteboard?
It is an actual blackboard.
Really, like chalk.
Old-fashioned chalk blackboard.
Wow,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
So
where he puts his stuff.
We did get an update. Jared is listening in, and he did confirm that Kylie Dobson also has a COVID year available to her if she chooses to use it. And apparently Sarah Adesh has said she's graduating, so she's gone, which leaves probably Jay Pleck being our starting goalie next year. So
or
thank you
Hannah
for-
Johns.
potentially, I would kind of expect Jay Pleck, but I don't know. We'll see. Possibilities. But thank you, Jared, for chiming in. Wanted to pass along what he shared.
Yeah, interesting that he's listening and out with us today. Don't know. Explain
Ah,
yourself, young man, in the remaining 21 minutes.
He may be on the move or something. It's
Very
it's
possible to
Yeah.
possibly crawling out of the gutter he ended up in. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
Texting and driving. No. Hopefully
Don't
not.
do that, Jared.
No.
Pull over. If you got anything else to say, stop the vehicle. Put the sandwich down.
No, I presume Jared's he's good. He's probably not doing that.
He's a hellion on the road, though. Have you ever ridden with him anywhere,
No, I
Phil?
have not.
Judge, let me tell you something, Jeff. We made it to Cincinnati in an hour.
Woo!
Maybe I
Go
exaggerated a little
speed
bit here.
racer. Go. Yeah.
Oh my God, we were. Yeah, I was just like I was afraid to look at the speedometer, and I was afraid to look out the side window. Things were going by me so quick.
they,
I was
they
thinking,
things were blue shifting ahead of you and red
oh,
shifting
it was
behind.
incredible. It's like we were out of one dimension and into another. That's how fast we were going. No, actually, you're fine, Jared. Don't worry about it. I'm teasing. Just never ask me to go anywhere with you anywhere again ever, please.
He
See,
has he is just his busy morning traffic concerns getting to softball, road closures with marathon and mini marathon going on, and track and field
and
is in action. So
and did I not joke? Did I not joke in the article today that they got caught on the wrong side of Second Street, and it turns out he's caught in marathon traffic. So
yeah.
you know,
And he
It's
claims it
going
was
on.
Lexington in an hour. Cincinnati took an hour and 15. I'm not sure that's all that
neither
he's on right
neither
now.
one of those is better.
Yeah.
Just,
It shows he can speed on two different interstates.
we
That's what
went
it's
up,
telling us. He's capable.
we went up for a lacrosse game, and I swear we got in the car at 11, and we were there by noon. I know we
Yeah.
Yeah.
we were walking out onto the lacrosse field at noon, and the game was still an hour away. And I was kind of like, holy crap. I mean, we couldn't have even flown there that quick,
No, you
Oh,
can't. Not even close.
no.
By the time you consider going through security and all that, yeah, it's not even close.
So certainly so, but and I've gone to Lexington, and see, I keep doing this, and the older I get, the scarier I get. But I've gone to Lexington with him several times for the annual UK UofL matchup in basketball, and it's just like if you take tranquilizers, I recommend you double dose before you get in the car with him. Okay. Oh, all fun, Jared. Just having fun with you. But so yeah, looking back at this season, it was a better season for Teeter than last year. I guess the question to you guys is it enough to keep fostering hope and belief that he can make us a competitor that's going to be up near the top of the ACC down the road? Okay,
I
case
think.
just go ahead.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I think so. I will. Let me acknowledge up front that coming into this season, I expected his seat to start getting pretty warm. But and I was saying, early on before preseason and early in the season, we need to see some improvement. We need to see some way and some improvement. And I was speaking a lot of the record, and I don't know that our finishing record this year is much of an improvement over last year's, but I definitely see that we were playing with teams that we weren't playing with last year. Like we may have fallen to them in the end, but there was more competitive play in getting there. Um, I don't know how some people such as Josh Hurd and Amy Calabrese will look at that and look into that. I hope they look into it more in depth because I do think there was a significant improvement in quality of play this year. Not consistency necessarily, not being able to maintain that quality of play over a full hour of a regulation game, but certainly the quality of play, there was a step up in that. And so I would say yes, keep on keeping on for now, but keeping an eye on things. I don't, I, you know, I like the guy. I really like him a lot, but we've got to continue to see that improvement. So, but I do think we saw that this year.
Yeah, you look at the record. Jeff mentioned not sure how much of an improvement it was. So the win in the first round of the ACC tournament, that first advancement that he picks up, gives him his best number of wins in both overall in his tenure at Louisville and in conference, both by one. So it was that win that tipped him over. He finished 8 and
Yeah,
11.
and a first ever advancement. That's a milestone towards
Right,
it. So,
exactly.
yeah.
8 and 11 overall, 3 and 7 in conference. But you look at you know, they start the season on the road, a top 5 team against Denver, and it doesn't go great. 16-8 loss. But Denver made the Final Four last year. They're good again this year. They take on Colorado, narrowly lose. It's a 1-goal loss, 3-goal loss to Lindenwood. Open the ACC season with um, a close but a 4-goal loss to Virginia Tech, which they would later avenge in the conference championship. Um, pick up the win against Pitt pretty handily. They lose to, at the time, number 3, Boston College, who is also competing for the ACC championship tomorrow. They lost that game by 3 goals. They beat a top 20 Clemson team. They beat Liberty. They only lost to North Carolina by 6, which seems like a lot, but goals come in waves in lacrosse. Uh, the biggest loss, really, 2 big losses were to the top 2 seeds in the ACC tournament, with the 22-12 loss to Syracuse, and then the 23-10 loss to close the regular season against Notre Dame. Both of those teams are in the top 5, so that's not terrible. You look at this, and they were within 3 goals in a lot of their losses, within 5 goals in even more of them, and there's definite improvement. And like you said, consistency was part of the problem in this season, and hopefully we can see more of keeping the pressure on the opponents, and not letting a 3-run goal streak turn into a 6-run goal skid for the opponent, which happened in the game against Syracuse, but happened a few other times throughout the season. So there's improvements to be made in some different aspects, but I think as an overall program, we are seeing steps in the right direction.
And you make a good point there, Case, in the fact that we are playing the best better than we were. Here's something else, though, that I think that we need to consider. This was brought up to me actually in a discussion I was having with somebody who doesn't really follow lacrosse that much, but is a big U of L sports fan, so has a passing general knowledge. He goes, "Yes, but Paul," he said, "Well, weren't we a much better team when Kelly Young was here?"
Yeah.
And I had to kind of stop him. I said, "The record may have been better,
Yeah.
but you have to consider who you were playing." I said, "Right now, we are in top flight college lacrosse, bear no one. The ACC is the best conference in D1 NCAA women's lacrosse, and we are a part of it. So naturally, our competition is going to be a little bit tougher than it was when we were playing Big East lacrosse or any of the other former versions of lacrosse that we played under the aforementioned Kelly Young. Yes, we had some good players back then. I won't deny that. But I do believe that with the status of where we are at now, we've reached the top of the ladder conference wise. There's nothing above the ACC. It's the hallowed ground, as they speak of sometimes. Uh, what we have to do now is climb the ladder in our conference. We've made it to the top rung, but how far down the top rung can we go until we've reached the destination? Uh, so, and you couldn't ask for a better coach. You couldn't ask for a guy, the perfect guy to come in and pick up the mess that was left here by our former coach, reconstruct it, re-get the confidence of the players, the fan base, the administration, everybody. He came in as a class act. He is still a class act, and you don't put a class act out in the morning to be picked up by the laundryman. Okay? You hang on to him. You let him continue to build. You let him continue to give you a program that eventually you're going to be very proud of. It's just not like walking in and sweeping the porch. No, this is 6 feet of snow. It's a tough conference to be good in, but we're getting there.
Well,
I
and
don't know.
if you look at um, the seasons that Kelly Young was still the head coach, that Louisville was in the ACC, they still never exceeded 3 ACC conference wins, even with the records above 500. Um, Louisville was 16-4 in 2014, which was their American Athletic Conference season. They went
Right.
7-0 in conference, and then immediately in the first year in the ACC, they fall to 10-8 and 2-5 in conference. The ACC is just a different breed, and
It
even
is.
though they finished above 500 in all 3 of her seasons in the ACC, they didn't win more than 3 conference games. So, you know, Scott Teeter's scheduling very difficult non-conference games and then playing a very difficult ACC schedule, and the record is reflecting that. So, as the improvements continue to come, then we might reach a tipping point where all of a sudden the record skews much more in the W column.
And well, I'll tell you, you take a look at some of the players too that were there and present at the end of the Kelly Young reign. Kay Moore said, "I think she's the best all-around lacrosse player to ever play at Louisville, women's lacrosse." And I challenge you to come up with somebody that's been better than her. Courtney Daly, another player that was fantastic and played for us for so long. But hey, Teeter's getting the job done as far as I'm concerned, and we don't do anything about him. Uh, Softball. Let's talk a little softball, shall we? The University of Louisville softball squad took to the field at Auburn last night to bring in the Clemson Tigers, and Clemson Tigers were, hey, what's Taylor Roby doing out there? Oh, she's a coach down there now. I was just afraid she was going to walk out there with that little grin and take the man on us or the circle against us. I'm like, oh no, we got to bet against her. I don't want to. No, she's she is actually a volunteer coach down there now and doing a great job with them from all aspects of what I understand. But,
Volunteer or graduate assistant?
volunteer or grad assistant? It may
I think
be
it's
grad
grad
assistant.
assistant.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is.
And why we
Technically
didn't
not
pick her up,
volunteer.
Holly? Why we didn't pick her up, Holly April? Huh?
Yeah.
You got some explaining to do.
Added to the list of questionable decisions.
Yeah, just boy, she's all and everything about Louisville and has been, and then she just like, oh yeah, she's gonna go to Clemson. That's fine. Anyway, one of the deals last night was that we had this, and I'll let you guys go off on this a couple minutes. So we had this thing. It was our game going into the seventh, and once again, failure to communicate and finish.
And leaving a pitcher in too long.
Just leave her in the game for the last out. I mean, what was the point in why?
Yeah.
I don't blame
Well-
Alyssa Sabala for the loss. I refuse.
Yeah.
I refuse to blame a pitcher who got shelled in the fifth, managed to come back in the sixth, and then had a rough start to the seventh. Like, take her out. Like, I don't understand why you hang her out to dry like that. It was incredible.
Yeah. Brooke Gray should have started the seventh inning. In my opinion, that would have been my decision. But
yeah, I mean that. I would have accepted that. I understand sending her out there, but as soon as she puts the first batter on base, give her the hook. I mean, it's not. Anyway, like Paulie said, Louisville took a 1-run lead into the fifth. Zabala got dinged around a little bit, managed to work out of a jam to prevent the damage from getting any worse. And then Louisville's offense responded in the bottom of the fifth and gave the Cards a 5-3 lead. Zabala came out in the sixth and had a good inning. She would have been 1-2-3, but there was an error, so she was 1-2-3-4 instead. And then in the seventh, she gave up a walk, gave up a hit, did something else. Then the bases were loaded and nobody was out. And then she got left in the game, and then Clemson scored 3 runs again. What else do you say? I don't know why leave her in with the go ahead run on second base and 1 out. It's fascinating choice. But
the decision making, Jeff, was questionable, but that's why she's got the title as head coach for softball. Your thoughts on it?
My thoughts are that seat's getting a little warm. Again, kind of like we were talking about with lacrosse. Um, you know, we're seeing some questionable decisions. We start looking at it and we go, well, maybe there's place for a change to happen here. I don't know if that happens this year or one more year, but again, we need to start seeing the improvement. And we saw the talent out there, we saw the capability out there, but just haven't been able to put it together. I don't know. I'm starting to be skeptical about this seat as well. So
I think there are others that are in that camp with you, sir. And
yeah.
I have to take a look at the three aspects of this team this year, the way I see them, and you all can comment on that. First of all, we have the one dominant pitcher that Jeffy and I were used to in the early days of when we first started covering Louisville softball out there.
Mhm.
Zabala is that pitcher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, and she can be incredible. But there are times, and here's my second aspect to it. What else you got? What if she gets in trouble?
Yeah.
What if she's not at her best?
The days of a single pitcher carrying a team through the whole season are gone. We need
They are.
some backup in the bullpen, and I think that is Brooke Gray. Um, we've seen her do pretty well this year, and she's a true freshman, so certainly credit to her. She's impressive. I think with another year, she could be that second option, and maybe with the extra year under her belt, maybe Holly will be a little less hesitant to switch to her. I don't know. I'm hopeful because I think that would have improved. Making that pitching change to another pitcher like Brooke would, I think, help a lot.
I got no disagreement with that at all. And the third aspect of what I was going to kind of finish this out with is sure you can field and sure you can catch, but who's going to hit the damn ball? And,
Yeah,
okay, the floor is open. I don't think we've got a killer hitter on this team. I'm sorry, I don't.
I think we do, but she's graduating. So, Riley Frizzell is who I'm talking about
The
here.
the only player that is over 1,000 OPS now. There were multiple. Now there's just the one. Vanessa Miller's still flirting with it, but I there's
Yeah, who's
nobody
also
that
graduating.
steps in.
So
Well, there's nobody that steps in to the box in a high leverage situation, and you're like, I feel very good about this.
yeah,
I mean, if you
There's
take
people
a
that
look,
step into the box in a high leverage situation, and you're like, okay, I'm glad that it's this person. But there's also plenty of people that step in, and you're like, no. Is there a pinch hitter available? Do we have somebody that we can
yeah,
we can pop in here? But yeah, it's not been uh, the best at the plate. I don't really understand the performance this season for the team. I understand we needed to replace some people, but we brought in capable replacements,
yeah,
and then promptly put ourselves squarely on track to, I think, most likely finish 500 on the season.
Yeah.
And well below in conference, which is not. I mean, you made it to the tournament last year. Like, the expectation is that this team should be making it to the tournament every single season, and working towards hosting a regional. So, the massive step back, and a few losses that have been handed away are not great. So, I don't know. I don't understand, for example, why has Lindsey Mullen only pitched 16 innings? She's a freshman. Um, you brought her in along with Brooke Gray. Obviously, you expected Gray to do more than she has, but like you said, Jeff, she's a true freshman. So
Mhm.
um, Izzy Harrison only has 13.2 innings. I don't know that she is underachieving. I mean, if you look at how she performed at UK last year, you probably expected similar performance to what you're getting now. Um, Obviously, you would have liked to see some improvement, and I think that's part of the other concern that I've had with this pitching staff is I don't see when any of them walk out into the circle here in April a whole lot of difference from when they walked out into the circle in February. Like it doesn't look like anyone has really elevated their game this season, um, which is alarming because throughout the season you should be getting better. Even if you're getting more tired, you should be improving, especially if you're a freshman or transfers that didn't play a lot last year. And that didn't happen. So I don't know really what else to say. There's kind of one person you can blame for that. So
A top 25 team in town in the Clemson Tigers, a team that, in your best case scenario, you're hoping now at least you can maybe take the series. A sweep, of course, is impossible. But Clemson, a team that is not going to just come in here and go, yeah, it's your senior weekend, so we're just going to stop being Clemson softball and let y'all win
Yeah.
that whole thing. Good luck. No,
No, they're a very
they
good team. Credit to
they're
them.
they're good and a hard
Yeah.
fighting team too, and they've done some wonderful things down there in building that program. And I still think probably the best player in the conference in Valerie Cagle, and we haven't
I
seen her on the mound yet.
wouldn't argue that.
We haven't seen her throw against us yet. Just saying. Are they saving her for the series final like they tend to do? Will she make an appearance today? Uh, it's going to take some powerful hitting to get in on Cagle because she can definitely dominate you. And she has 5 losses this year, Jeff. That's what confused me. How the
Yeah.
hell did she lose 5 games? Unfortunately, sometimes you get stuck into situations where you're going up against top flight talent and they kind of get up on you, and then it happens. But we certainly wish our kids the best out there today in the second game of the series. Jared will be out there taking photos. It's on the ACC Network Extra, if I'm not mistaken. So you can watch it there should you have the interest to do so. I hope that you will kind of take a look and see what's happening. And before we get out of here and get into our final thoughts, just real quickly, want to just say good job, Jeff Walls. And the
Yeah.
reason I say that is I'm taking a look here at these commits here that he's had kind of say, yeah, you know what? We might want to come there and play ball. McKinley Randolph, an incredible ball player. Incredible. Reagan Bender, great Sacred Heart talent here in Louisville. One that we certainly are going to like a whole lot. Jaleel Williams coming to us from Miami of Florida. Now, yes, we did lose a couple players. Okay, fine, sure, we did. It happened. Did we lose anybody that's going to hurt us that much? Alexia Mobley, well, I hope she finds a good home down in Florida. I really do. I hope that she gets a chance to go down there and play some ball. Heine Van Schaik, she didn't do much. I didn't expect much. I don't see much coming up with her down the road, wherever she ends up. Was it where did I see she was going? Does anybody have that?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay. Tyler Everett Roberts, incredible ball player. Azalea Arenas, incredible ball player. They played together out in California. A 6'4" forward and Anaya Hardy, another 6 foot forward, Eliza Jeffermans. She's an Aussie too. This is an incredible top 10 recruiting year class,
Yeah,
guys.
it is an incredible class. Yeah.
And I just hope that we can see it grow into fruition as one of our best senior classes ever. But time will tell. Certainly look forward to seeing them out there. And it's going to take probably half the season, Jeff, to put a face with a name. But we'll give it our best shot.
Yeah.
We'll give it our best shot. We should be fine with it.
Life in the time of the portal.
Yeah, I just
But
I
also
don't.
just a bunch of big class coming in. So,
Yeah, it's a bunch of girls, and
yeah.
I look forward to meeting Tatiana Roberts because she just seems like such an incredible, open and wild personality and the stuff that she puts online and stuff like that. That she could be just a lot of fun for us. She could be our next Jazz Jones as far as excitement and verbosity and everything else goes. You could always get a quote. You could always go to Jazz. She would give you something. And sometimes it may be not anything you could print, but you'd get a quote from her. And that's why we loved her so. But we have had some great fun here. And guys, it's hard to believe we're already past the witching hour here. So we're going to go ahead and roll into our final thoughts. Jeff, you can go ahead and start us out this week with yours.
Yeah, kind of following on a little bit from the idea, a little bit of a tinge from what you were just talking about. Shout out to Josie Williams, hired as director of basketball operation at Utah State. So nice step for her, starting her career on the sidelines. So good for her.
It was such a pleasure to see her on the sidelines last season over there with, of course, as in her
Casa,
role
yeah,
with Casa as her role as a graduate assistant. And she was doing a lot of coaching over there, although
yeah,
she was kind of doing it on the side. And then sometimes Walls would give her that questioning eye, like, what are you telling her that for when I just told her? But nevertheless, onward and upward she goes. And I'm happy for her. And I think she'll be a very, very good addition to the Utah State program, indeed. Case, what you got?
Yeah, a little bit of a follow up. Earlier, we were talking about eligibility. The only requirements for eligibility for the lacrosse NCAA lacrosse championship is that you decide all regulation game or all regular season games uh, with an overtime period if they are tied at the end of regulation, and they have to play 10 games. So, in theory, Lobel Lacrosse is eligible for selection. I still doubt that they will be selected. The other thing that I wanted to point out, I mentioned it during scheduling at Twitter. Jaden Ulrich earlier this year broke Imani Henderson's record, program record in shot put. Imani had an 17.98. Ulrich broke that earlier this year by throwing an 18-meter shot put throw. Yesterday she broke that with her first throw with an 18.08, and then later threw 18.27 meters in shot put,
Wow.
which obliterated her own record and also set the facility and event record at Cardinal Park. So fantastic. Moves her into the top 6, and she'll be looking to add on to the hardware that she picked up in the indoor season.
Yeah, I have not paid a lot of attention to track and field this season, and so I missed all that. But that's incredible because as we know the Big E, she gave up basketball to throw. Okay,
hmm
she just kind of said, Coach Walls, this has been fun, but this big ball in my hand is my destiny, and it's not a basketball. Look how far I can throw this sucker.
yeah. It's not as big of a ball, but it's a lot heavier.
Oh yeah,
Just for conversion's sake, her throw yesterday was 3/4 of an inch short of 60 feet throwing the shot put. And Imani Henderson, like you mentioned, was fantastic in her own right. Her 17.98 record was over half a meter longer than the next longest throw in program history. So, yeah, it's Ulrich is really good, and that was a pretty good land by our new director of track and field and cross country, to get her in the transfer portal.
And just to put that to some kind of semblance, if she was standing at home plate, she would be throwing that thing out, and it would be landing on third base.
Yes,
Think about that.
with a shot put.
Yeah, with a shot put. Think about that. Well, oof, it boggles the mind. Uh, Final thoughts out of me. I just want to take a little bit. I'd started in on basketball a little bit, and I'm really excited, and I can't tell you about all these young transfers and freshmen that are coming into the program. But Tajana Avant Roberts is the one that's really got made my eyes open a little bit. She's coming to us out of a very, very incredible, great high school program out of the IMG Academy in Florida. A 5-star, uh, ranked 25th overall, and we beat out Kentucky, Duke, California, and Virginia Tech to get her. Okay, with Virginia Tech, I can understand where Kenny leaving, and yada yada yada. But Kenny went to Kentucky, and we still beat them out. Uh, Duke, incredible program, and of course California's been a very very good program too. Uh, she is going to be the real deal if she lives up anywhere close to what she's done in high school. At La Jolla, they won their third title in 4 years out there. She averaged 14 points a game. Uh, she is one of the best guards in the country, and her stock is still rising after what she's done out on the summer circuit. Uh, you got to love her work ethic. You got to love her determination. You got to love the way that she uses her size, in addition to her ability to attack. She can shoot from anywhere, and just I just think she's a can't miss, and I'm going to be very, very, very excited to see how her career develops here. Uh, but as far as that goes, we've certainly developed a good show for you today. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope that you will tune in next week. Oh, no, in 2 weeks. Excuse me. I got into that final close and almost fumbled it. We will be on in 2 weeks. Everybody have a great derby next week. And if you need a winning horse, don't call me. And enjoy your derby week. Take care, everybody. And go Cards.